Welcome to the farzyshow, everybody. Presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. How about them fighting Phils? How about the fighting Phils? They issue a challenge, win on the road. They win on the road. Now they're coming home. Now they got the Braves. Then they got the Mets, who suck all of a sudden, which is phenomenal. Last time the Phillies lost a series. Oh, my goodness. That was a long time ago because, they just swept the A's. And then, they won 3 out of 4 from those Diamondback fellas. And then they won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. And then before that, they swept the Tigers and they took 2 or 3 for the Nationals. Hey, you know what? All of a sudden, the Phillies are winning some baseball games. It feels pretty damn good to say that. The last time they struggled was against that Mets team. Go figure. The Phillies just wrapped up a 7-game road trip. They lost the first game of that road trip where they scored 8 runs with like 3 bench guys in the game, essentially 3 starters out of the game, 3 bench guys in the game. And then you know what they did after that? They won 6 in a row, matching a season-long winning streak. The Phillies couldn't be hotter than they are right now. They're going to get a day off, and then they're going to welcome the Atlanta Braves. But before we get to that Braves series, let's just take a second here and applaud the job of Rob Thompson. Let's just, for a second, applaud the job. Because I've been doubting. I've had my doubts. I mean, I've always thought throughout this entire season, and I still think, even after this nice run, hopefully they continue it. Hopefully there's just a taste of things to come for the foreseeable future for the Phillies. But I've been saying all season long, even in the worst parts, this is going to be a playoff team, folks. This is going to be a playoff team. And now as we sit going into this, on this Monday at the time this is a live taping, by the way, of the Farzy Show podcast. We usually do the mornings, right? But we're doing a live taping tonight. But as we sit here going into this Monday, I'll say it there, ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia Phillies are just 1 game out of a wild card spot in the National League. They're still not really 8 games. That's contention, sort of, for the division. But I never expected them to win this division. I expected them to win a wild card spot. And as of right now, they are incoming from the LA Dodgers, who now occupy that final wild card spot in the NL East. So the Phillies right now are 1 game away from the playoffs, and it feels good to talk about that now, towards middle of June. So things are good right there. But let's talk about a couple of things. One, yes, Rob Thompson, and most notably, I want to talk about Rob Thompson for making the switch, moving Kyle Schwarber to the leadoff spot. Now I'm going to talk about Kyle Schwarber. That's all the nice things I'm going to say about Rob Thompson. He's kept his confidence in his team. He's kept his confidence in his ball club. And although I tend to make fun of people that have some fun with people that are a little mild-mannered, people that may not be as, energetic, passionate as I am, I don't know. I tend to identify with those types of people. But I give a lot of credit to a guy like Rob Thompson who, when you're really struggling, he's right here. He's just even keeled. He's just down the middle the entire time, no matter what. I've talked about a lot how we talked in September when the team was really struggling. It was a question whether or not they're going to make the playoffs. Are they just going to sneak in? Rob Thompson maintained, hey, well, this is a playoff team. And he said it so matter-of-factly that it just caught my attention. And he had so much confidence in his team that, yes, they were going to solidify that spot. Well, going into this road trip, Rob Thompson issued a challenge to his team. And if you watch this show on the regular, if you listen to this podcast regularly, then you know I've played this and I'm going to play it again. This is Rob Thompson before the road trip, talking about how they were struggling on the road. This was their record before this road trip, 13-22 on the road with a 371 winning percentage. That's not good. So Rob Thompson, after the Phillies had a nice homestand, really nice homestand, as a matter of fact, here's Rob Thompson talking about going on the road for 7 games and what he wanted to see from his team.
Our coaches do a great job, and they're talking through situations with these guys all the time. And I think it's just a matter of repetition and, some classroom work, type of thing, I guess. But yeah, we've been playing well for a bit now, so it's good. Now we got to go play a really good team, win on the road. That's our next goal.
Win on the road. That's the next goal. Mission accomplished. You won 6 of 7 on the 7-game road trip. Your winning percentage on the road, ladies and gentlemen, went from, this is on the season now. This is on the season. Obviously, they won 6 of 7 there. But on the season, their road winning percentage went from 371 to 463. With how they were able to get to now 19 wins on the season on the road. 4 games under 500 on the road. Hey, you got back to 500. Got 4 games over 500. Keep on stacking them, baby. Now let's get over 500, both road and home. Now, I'm not home. They're 19-11 still, obviously, before they start this 3-game series with the Braves. So we've talked about Rob Thompson. I've mentioned Kyle Schwarber. I don't know what it is. I don't know what possesses this man in the month of June, but ever since Rob Thompson made the move to make him the Phillies leadoff hitter, he's gone from batting a lowly 165 to now, in that time, he's gone to 270 in the last 16 games, not on the season. But he's a 270 hitter in the month of June. Pretty incredible, with 7 home runs now in the month of June, just hitting the cover off the baseball. And 3 hits in this game 3 against the Oakland A's to help them seal the sweep of Oakland. And let's not forget, Oakland had a nice 7-game winning streak for themselves. They had lost the last 2 games of a 4-game series with the Rays, so they split a series with the Rays, the best team in baseball. And the Phillies were going to meet the A's right at the wrong time. Turned out to be the right time, because they were right back to being the A's. They went into this series with the Phillies at 19 wins on the season, and they still have yet to get their 20th win on the season. Although it was close, especially Saturday's game, but the Phillies fought their way out of it. We got a big hit from Kyle Schwarber in the 12th inning, which was nice. And then Kyle Schwarber also helped lead the way for the Phillies with a 3-for-4 game with his 7th home run of the month, 20th home run of the season against the A's in game 3. So all is right in Schwarbomb land, certainly. I don't know what it is with this guy, but what was the most impressive thing wasn't even the leadoff home run. It was the single, the RBI single that he had that scored Pache from second. He just reached out. We'll get to the play-by-play of the game in a second, but he just reached out and touched that ball with the base. Didn't even swing, really. It was an outside curveball that he stuck with, got the bat head out, got the barrel of the bat out there, and just somehow blooped it right down the right field line for a single. An RBI single nonetheless, but a single. Pretty incredible for Kyle Schwarber and what he's able to do with that bat. Also, the starting pitching for the Phillies has been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, Aaron Nola is your blemish, unfortunately, when talking about starting pitch. I had more confidence in Christopher Sanchez than I did in Aaron Nola and in making starts in this road trip. I had more confidence in the game to Christopher Sanchez pitching than I did Aaron Nola. And our man, Corey Simon of NBC Sports Philadelphia, put together some interesting numbers here. Now, Ranger Suarez will get the start coming up in a little bit. Monday he'll get the start. But Corey Simon put these numbers together. I want to give him a shout out here because it's great. Phillies 31-21 in games started by Wheeler, Nola, Walker, and Suarez. Going into the season, we knew these guys were going to be pretty much your big 4 of 5. We weren't sure who the 5th starter was going to be. We knew Suarez was going to join the team sooner or later, and he certainly has. But now in these games, in the 52 games so far this season, they are the best when Taijuan Walker starts. He's 10-5, followed by a 9-6 in Zach Wheeler starts, 5-2 in Ranger Suarez starts, and the only guy that they're under 500 with, ladies and gentlemen, 7-8 in Aaron Nola starts this season. If you're Aaron Nola, that should bother you a little bit. Now, Corey also goes on to talk about how there are 3-3 in the games started by Matt Strahm while he was a starting pitcher and not an opening pitcher or a bullpen pitcher. So that's worth throwing in there. But Taijuan Walker, he has not been good until lately. And they've won 10 of his starts. They're 10-5 in games that he starts. Pretty impressive. Great run that he has been on. The only guy that I have a lot of questions about, and this is after watching Zach Wheeler. I hate to say this because it was 6 scoreless innings. It was 6 scoreless innings from Zach Wheeler in game 3 against the A's. 6 scoreless innings. And I'm watching and I'm like, I've seen Zach Wheeler pitch much better than this. This is where you get a little happy. You're a little excited that you played the A's. Regardless of the fact that they were playing great baseball, they were playing really well going in. They're coming out of that series with the Rays, albeit they lost the last 2, whatever. This is where you're grateful you're facing a lineup like that, or you're facing a lineup like the Detroit Tigers, for instance. By the way, more on that in a second for what it means for this series coming up with the Phillies against the Braves. I got a doozy for you. But watching Zach Wheeler today, I don't know. He didn't have his put-away pitches. He wasn't as crisp as he has been before. He only had 4 strikeouts. You could certainly make an argument he was getting squeezed a little bit, but we have seen Zach Wheeler work corners. We have seen a great snap to his curveball. We've seen the sweeper sweep very well, and we've seen, obviously, a lot better velocity on his well, I shouldn't say a lot, but we've seen more consistently a 97, maybe a 98 every once in a while, mile per hour fastball, that it just wasn't there today. And it hasn't been there for maybe his last 2-3 starts. But what you have seen over his last 3 starts is maybe a guy that doesn't have the velocity that he had in the beginning of the season, but he has been pretty much picture perfect in hitting his spots. Today, not as much. Game 3 against the A's, it wasn't there as much. So this is a classic example of a really good pitcher not having his really good stuff, but still finding a way to help the team win. And it wasn't just a matter of, oh, we only allowed 3 runs and you scored 5 or something like that. It's 6 scoreless. Didn't have his best stuff, and he posted 6 scoreless innings. 107 pitches for Zach Wheeler today. Fought tooth and nail, scratch and clawed through those 6 innings to help the team win. And not just help the team win, but come out at 99 pitches, okay? End of the 5th inning. He goes out there. He's got 99 pitches. Started the 6th. He started that inning with 99 pitches. Started the 6th inning with 99 pitches. Came back out. Wasn't sure if the Phillies are going to be worried about an up down. Oh, he's had another up down after a lot of pitches. He's probably done. No, he got up again, and he sat down the side. He got a 1 pitch out in that 6th inning, and then he got out of it with a 4-6-3 double play. Again, we'll get to it in the play-by-play, but it was pretty remarkable what the Phillies were able to do and what Zach Wheeler was able to do. And then the bullpen came in on a day where you know you're not going to have Kimbrel, you're not going to have Vasquez. Who else aren't you going to have? Who else did you not have? Soto. Of all these guys, you have a pitcher willing to go out there and give you all he's got again. Very impressive from what you saw from Zach Wheeler today. Can't talk about it enough. Very impressed with what I saw from Zach Wheeler. Something else that I found interesting. Pache has been really good at the plate, man. The last 2 games have been really good at the plate. I don't know how much more I need of him in left field. If he's going to play, I want it to be on days off for Braden Marsh, I guess. But, whoo, baby. And a couple of doubles in game 3, which is great, which is nice. Run score, that's great. It's nice. But the happy feet, man, in left field, I don't know if I need the left field version of Pache, as we have seen, Christian Pache, as we have seen yesterday or in game 3 of this series. I don't know if I could go with the game 3, the left field. Maybe without that. The bat, still good, still really good. Remember earlier in the season when we were talking about K. Long? We're talking about Kevin Long, Phillies hitting coach, being the Jeff Stoutland of the Philadelphia Phillies, right? Remember that? Marsh has struggled as of late. He came back down there. Stott has heated up again, which has been fantastic. And by the way, Stott sitting against lefties, we need that. There needs to be some sort of, a government hearing. He's every day. When do you want him to start? Every day. Well, what about other guys? Are they reps? Yeah, they'll get them. It's a long season. They'll get them. Rest other guys. Josh Harrison in right field tonight. Yeah, that's a little scary. Don't know if I need that as much. Maybe more. Maybe third base. Maybe shortstop. Maybe second base. You know, when you do want to give him Bryce to stop the days off and all that stuff. But he's certainly come back with a vengeance for this Phillies lineup. So that's been great. But yeah, Pache as the left fielder. Maybe center field. I think he likes to show off the wheels a little bit. So maybe we'll just do that more often. Something else with this Phillies squad. I mentioned they're 1 game out of a wild card spot, 8 games out of first place in the NL East. Now they got the Braves. Now they have a big chance to announce their presence with authority. I talked about the fun police a lot. I talk about the people that say, oh, you beat the Nationals 2 out of 3. Congratulations. Oh, you swept the Tigers and pitching looked great in that series. Yeah, they took 3 no-hitters into it earliest the 5th inning. So, yeah, they were pretty great against the Tigers. They dominated. And then you talk about a series against the Dodgers where they had 2 bullpen games. I don't care. They won. It's hard to win, especially when you watch a Phillies team really struggle the first 2 months of the season, and then they start to hit their stride. Oh, and they also took 3 or 4 from the Diamondbacks. That's pretty damn good, too. And then what did they do against a team like the A's? Oh, they did what they were supposed to do. I talk about this a lot in other sports, but in baseball it definitely applies. people will talk about, oh, so what? It's only the fill in the blank. In this case, it's only the Oakland Athletics, who are already kicked out of their own city by the ownership to move to Las Vegas. Okay, whatever. I don't care that it's the A's. Do what you're supposed to do. We talk about letdown games. We talk about get right games or get right series. I like to think of these types of series or games as prove it games. You're facing a 19-win team in June. Show me that you're a hell of a lot better. Prove to me that you're not a pushover team. Go ahead and do that. And by the way, let's go back even further than the nice end of the road trip against the Nationals and then the most recent homestand. Let's go back to that Braves series because the Phillies are about to face the Braves again. And the last time they faced the Braves, did they get swept by the Braves? Did they only muster one win against the Braves? Or did they split with the first place team in their division? I believe they split. They did split. Now they have an opportunity to, I don't know, maybe take 2 or 3 from the Braves. Let's get cocky. Let's get crazy. I don't get nuts. Let's get nuts. Maybe 3 out of 3 against the Braves. Maybe they sweep them on back to Atlanta. How about that? One good thing is, though, the Mets really do suck now, so they got the Mets after the Braves. So we'll, of course, talk about that series more as the week goes on and whatnot. But Phillies did exactly what they're supposed to do in this road trip. They handled their business. 6-1 on the road trip. As for Sunday's game, Sunday's Father's Day game, and yes, I do hope everyone had a wonderful Father's Day. For me, you guys that watch the show religiously or listen to the people on the podcast that listen to the show religiously. You guys know this weekend was my wedding anniversary, my 5-year wedding anniversary, my lovely wife, right? We had this nice time planned to go out and hit the town and have a great time. And my daughter, Thursday night, this is what my soon-to-be 4-year-old daughter, Lil Toots, was sounding like. So anyway, she had strep. Took her to the doctor. Doctor tested her. Strep. My wife went to the doctor. Got tested. Strep. Me, I apparently only get COVID. I'm the only person in my house to get COVID, and I've had COVID twice. So that's pretty much all I get. Knock on wood. My son, Leo, he's going to be a year. He's a year and a half. He's fine too. Just the far as that are men in the house are doing just fine and dandy. The ladies, and not so much. But yeah, so I had this great weekend planned, and that went to hell. But yesterday, when the wife was down and out, taking a nap, a nice, long, well-deserved nap to rest up, and my son was taking his nap, and my daughter was feeling a lot better, I actually got to do something I never get to do, which is just float around in the pool. And my daughter had no interest in the pool. She sat outside on a beautiful day. She was in the pool for a minute, and then she watched Paw Patrol on her iPad. She calls it a Debbie. I don't know why. We've been over this on the show. She just calls it a Debbie. So now every iPad, tablet, whatever is a Debbie. I don't know. If you're named Debbie and you like listening to this show, your name is mentioned often in the Farzetta household. Just know that. So tell you all this. It was a nice Father's Day. All in all, it was a very nice Father's Day, and I hope you guys had a wonderful Father's Day as well to all who apply. Let's get into the Phillies play-by-play of the Father's Day game against the Oakland A's. And then we're going to get into a little NBA conversation. I'll let you hear a little bit more from Rob Thompson about what's working for this team, what's clicking for this team, what is going well for this Phillies team. We'll get into that in just a second. But first, let's talk about Kyle Schwarber for a second here in that leadoff home run that he hit in the first inning, of course. 4th pitch of the game. Here's how I knew, and here's when I knew the Phillies were going to win. All right, you ready for this? When Kyle Schwarber tried to bunt on the first pitch of the game, and then on the 4th pitch, he hit a fastball away 409 feet to left center field for his 20th home run of the season, 7th home run of the month of June. That was pretty spectacular. Harris is like, I wish I just would have let him bunt. Anyway, Phillies are up 1-0 at that point. Nothing doing in the rest of that game or the rest of that inning. Then Noda leads off with a line out to Alec Boehm at first base for the Phillies and Zach Wheeler's first inning pitching. Great play by Boehm, stayed with it, made the snap. It was great. Then Peterson goes up there, lines out to center. Rooker goes up there, gets the single to left field, and then Brown, thanks but no thanks, flies out to Brandon Marsh in center field. Second inning, Harrison goes down on the line out to center. Sosa strikes out. Marsh flies out to left field. on a play that their left fielder Brown got turned around on, I thought he was at least going to, if he dropped it, Marsh was at least going to be standing on second. Maybe with his speed and his hustle, maybe he gets a triple out of it, but nothing doing there. Second inning, a bit of a long one there for Zach Wheeler. And this is when I started to notice his pitch clock, or pitch count. Pitch count was going up a little bit there. Blade goes up there and he grounds out to second. Then Lorano goes up there and he strikes out. Check swing got rung up. Suspicious much? He didn't swing at that ball, folks. He was getting run. He was getting rung because he got run yesterday, 2 days ago, depending on when you're listening to this. Anyway, this is a live taping Sunday night, folks. Just, okay. Kemp goes up there, gets the double right off the mitt of Harrison in right field. Then Langiers goes up there and grounds out to Edmundo Sosa at third base. Third inning, Pache strikes out. Schwarber gets a single to center field. Took a high fastball in that at bat, just off his, almost took his chin off. Chin music being thrown by Harris, and Kyle Schwarber handled it by depositing a baseball up the middle for a base hit, his second hit of the game. Phillies couldn't do anything with it. Turner ended up striking out looking on an outside fastball. Then Bohm goes up there and strikes out on the high heat. Bottom of the third inning, Wade lays down a bunt single. Noda pops out to Trey Turner at short. Peterson flies out to center. Rooker pops out to left field. Then in the fourth inning, Phillies go down 1-2-3. Then in the bottom of the fourth, another long inning for Zach Wheeler. Now, let's move ahead to the fifth inning. Phillies are already up in this ballgame 1-0. Edmundo Sosa leads off by chasing a high fastball outside. He strikes out. Marsh strikes out. Pache says, you know what? This inning isn't going to go down 1-2-3. He puts a double in the left center field gap. Kyle Schwarber then steps up. And this is the play I was telling you about earlier. Curveball away. And the analogy I used on the postgame show with Jacob Media, the analogy I used was that it was like somebody was throwing. It's like if somebody's hitting you batting practice, somebody's hitting you fielding practice, whatever. They're throwing out the baseball and they're hitting it, and you're throwing it in, but they don't have anybody to catch it, and they're trying to stop it with the bat. I know it's a very specific, weird analogy, but that's where I'm at. So Schwarber puts out the bat and does basically that. Puts the bat out there, ball bounces off, goes like 340 feet, whatever it was, down the right field line, and just boop, like drops in there. Maybe a double. Anybody could, a little bit of wheels, but it scores Pache. Does the job. Scores Pache from second base. Phillies go up 2-0. Then in the fifth inning, Wheeler starts the inning. Wheeler starts the bottom of the fifth inning at 69 pitches. Nice. Now Wade goes up there, and he grounds out to the first baseman. Then Noda gets the single to right field. Harrison slips while fielding it. So another blunder. It didn't hurt him, but a blunder by Harrison there in right field. Peterson goes up there, flies out to left field. It was an interesting play because it was between Pache and Marsh. Pache made the play. Then they had a little conversation like Marsh saying, that's like my ball, right? And it should have been. He's a center fielder. It's his right. That's why I like Pache in center field more so than left field. But if this is what we're going to be doing in the not too distant future here, especially if Castellanos is going to miss some time, if he's a little under the weather like he is right now, then why not get his feet wet a little bit? Rooker then goes up there and he works a walk. Brown goes up there and he strikes out on the 99th pitch for Zach Wheeler at the close of the fifth inning. A nasty. Oh, I said Zach Wheeler didn't have his put away stuff. He did not. Only rarely did he have. He usually has it with great regularity. This time around, this game, not so much. But he gets through that fifth inning, posting his 99th pitch on a nasty curveball outside. Curveball away. He gets out of the inning. It's a 30-pitch inning for Zach Wheeler. Now, again, Kimbrel, no-go tonight. Vasquez, no-go tonight. Gregory Soto, no-go tonight. So the bullpen, a little bit shorthanded. So to get one more inning from Zach Wheeler would be huge. Would he come out for the next inning? And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking it's another up down. You're gonna release the fury. Now it turns out to be a quick inning, the top of the sixth inning, which I think might have factored in a little bit. Phillies go down 1-2-3 in the top of the sixth, and then the bottom of the sixth, Zach Wheeler starts trotting out to the mound again. And I'm like, this is all right, man. Come on out. 99 pitches, gets Blade to ground out or pop out to Edmundo Sosa at third base. Then Laureano goes up there and he gets a single, so a little bit of trouble here. and then a 4-6-3. Kemp grounds into the 4-6-3 double play. A 9-pitch inning for Zach Wheeler. No problem. Phillies go down 1-2-3 again in the 7th inning. Strom goes in there. And unfortunately allows that solo home run to the pinch hitter Diaz in that situation. He was pinch hitting for Wade. It's a 3-1 Phillies ball. Excuse me, 2-1 Phillies ball game at this point. And then that was it for Strom. He was able to get done and out of that inning, no problem after that. 8th inning, Pache leads off with a double. Kyle Schwarber strikes out, looking at an inside fastball. Turner goes up there, and Turner comes through in the clutch, helping the Phillies getting them what would be the game-winning hit, a RBI base hit to left field. Bohm then works a walk. It's runners at first and second with one out. Real Muto steps in there. He pops out to the first baseman in foul territory. Pache is able to tag on this play. Hell of a play by Noda there, but Pache tags on it, gets to third. So now you got 2 outs. You got a runner on third now. Nothing doing, though, for Bryson Stott, who flies out to center field. You get left field. You get 2 good defensive plays in that inning for the A's. Noda at first on Real Muto, and then Brown was able to run down Stott's fly ball to left field that was going down the line, but he tracked it down perfectly. 8th inning, Jose Alvarado's in the ballgame at this point for the Phillies. Rooker, is up there at the plate. He strikes out, worked a full count, and struck out on a 99-mile-per-hour sinker. Ruiz pinch hits for Brown. He gets a double to left field. Perez then pinch hits. He gets a double to left field. Now it's a 3-2 ball game in favor of the Phillies. Now, Phillies are able to get out of that one. Loreno ends up striking out, and Bride strikes out as well to end that. JT Realmuto able to squeeze it for the foul tip strikeout. Then in the 9th inning, Phillies go down. Sosa, who was the only person that got the hit there? Harrison led off with a single to center field, and then the Phillies went down 1-2-3 after that. 9th inning, Marte comes in to pitch for the Phillies. Never had a save before as a major leaguer. Not only does he never have a save, he comes in and he strikes out the side. He does it with great authority. Phenomenal to see that for this Phillies squad. And the Phillies walk away with a 3-2 victory in Oakland in all. Zach Wheeler, 6 innings, 6 hits, scattered 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 107 pitches, lowers his ERA to 3.48. Matt Strom allowed a run, Jose Alvarado allowed a run, and then Marte came in and got 3 strikeouts, 15 pitches to get out of that game and get out of that inning and record his first big league save. You love to see it. Let's hear from the skipper himself. As to what he had to say after this game and after this road trip. Now, you heard to start the show, Rob Thompson said, now you got to go win on the road. Well, they did. Here's the skipper on that.
Great road trip. You know, you lose the first one in Arizona, and then you reel off 6 in a row. Just got great effort from everybody. Our bullpen's been outstanding. Our last 4 saves are all different guys. Yeah. Ortiz, Kimbrel, Hoffman, Marte. So it's pretty neat.
That's pretty awesome. That's called versatility right there. And you know what? Here's what I love about it. Later in the season, I hate to say it, but you got to acknowledge it. It's part of the game, 162-game season. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have guys going through dead arm periods. You're going to have guys that need some rest, need some breaks. Good to get the experience now. I'm not loving Pache left, but you know what? If he's at the plate and he's swinging well and he can play well enough in left field, well, then have at it, son. Go get it. Absolutely love it. I want to see it continue. By the way, keep it coming. Keep it coming as much as you possibly can, ladies and gentlemen, as much as you possibly can. We've talked about Kyle Schwarber at the leadoff spot. I'll give you the numbers again. Through the first 56 games of the season, Kyle Schwarber was hitting 160. Okay. Through 56 games with 13 home runs. 16 games in June. 270 batting average with 7 home runs. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take it. We've been over this before with Rob Thompson talking about Kyle Schwarber and why he likes him at the top of the order. Somebody actually asked him after the game last night in Oakland. I don't know if it was an Oakland reporter or whatever. Somebody asked him, well, what do you think about Kyle Schwarber as the leadoff hitter, and why would you decide to do that? For somebody who hasn't been following the team, they actually said that. Through somebody who hasn't been following the team, why move Schwarber up there? He's like, I like the fear. Rob Thompson after the game talking about what's so great about Kyle Schwarber as your leadoff man.
I think there's a fear factor there when he steps to the plate, first hitter of the game, and it puts the other team on guard. But he's been swinging the bat great. He's been getting on base and doing everything he needs to do. He's obviously a big part of this.
If you're a guy like Harris, for instance, and you know you got to face Kyle Schwarber to start off the game, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you know that Kyle Schwarber is waiting for you, they talk about it in football a lot, where if a young quarterback is going to be getting a start and it's like week 8, the regular guy's out, he's hurt, whatever, and the young guy's going to go out there, that first play of the game the next day is you passing. You might have trouble sleeping the night before. People talk about that a lot, If you're a pitcher, Kyle Schwarber's leading off the next day, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to fire. You got to be ready to go. And this seemed to be an example where Harris was not ready for Kyle Schwarber to be the guy, and he jumped all over it. How about that? So now the Phillies have a tough road ahead of them. They have the off day on Monday. Then they start a 3-game series with the Atlanta Braves. First 2 games, 6:40. Then the Thursday game is 1:05. And then they got the Mets over the weekend. 7:05 start time, 4:05 start time, 1:35 start time. Friday, by the way, is an Apple TV game. So Apple TV Plus, make sure you guys get that one. Pitching matchups, Suarez versus Strider, and then Nola versus Smith-Shawver, and then Walker versus Elder. That's your 1, 2, 3 right there. As Adrian says to Rocky, win. Just win. Let's talk a little basketball, shall we? Let's talk a little basketball. I am not upset that the Sixers, quote unquote, missed out. Is that even the proper way to say it? Missed out on this? Adrian Wojnarowski dropping the Woj bomb Sunday. Breaking. Washington Wizards finalizing a trade to send all-star guard Bradley Beal to the Suns. Beal's waiving his no trade clause to form a new big 3. By the way, can we be done with the big? Do we have to keep on saying the big 3? The big 3 with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Teams are still working through the framework, but Beal is headed to the Suns. It later came out through Adrian Wojnarowski. Suns are expected to send Chris Paul, former Sixer. Woj doesn't say that. I'm just saying it. Former Sixer Landry Shamet, who I have discussed barbecue places in Kansas City with. Woj did not say that as well. I added that. Multiple second-round picks and pick swaps to the Wizards. Phoenix has no available first-rounders to include in the trade. Beal's no-trade clause limited the Wizards' marketplace. Deal could take a few days to be finalized. Landry Shamet, Chris Paul, multiple seconds, and multiple pick swaps to the Wizards. Now, could the Sixers have paid something like that? Yeah, they could have paid something like that. They didn't, and maybe Beal didn't want anything to do with the Sixers as well because he had complete final say over where he was going to go. That's why from the start it was always the Wizards and Beal's company, Beal's agency, Beal's camp are working together on a trade. And by the way, Beal's agent, I want to make sure I have this right. His son owns the Suns. So, this might have been worked on for a while. There's that. Man, the Suns really like nepotism. I mean, they call Angelos, and now you got the other name that I can't pronounce. But anyway, that's who they got. So I'm not upset about this at all. That Bradley Beal is going to the Phoenix Suns. It sounds great, but I can't look at players anymore and go, well, let's see what they do when it really matters. Because we did that with Ben Simmons. We did that with even James Harden. We've done it, not so much with Tobias Harris. But I just can't, like Bradley Beal playing in Washington and his 3-point percentage going way down with 30% with the last 2 years. What am I supposed to just think the guy didn't want to play because it was Washington and he knew it wasn't going anywhere? Or he knew he was playing with Russell Westbrook and the guy was good. Once he got his 10th assist, he didn't care about passing anymore. Once he got the triple-double, that was it. I would have had my eyebrows raised, but I thought it would have been committing more long-term money for a diminishing return on their investment. And yes, I still do not want James Harden back. I am still in the realm, even though I am closer now to, if I'm making a prediction as to whether or not he's going to be back, I was like 99.9% sure he wasn't going to be back. And then I'm like 75% sure. And now I'm like 50-50. Now it's a toss-up. I don't want him back. And now I have a feeling that if the Sixers do bring him back, the only way I'm going to find any ounce of optimism or happiness in doing so is that it won't be a 4-year, $210 million max deal. But you got to sign Maxey, Tobias Harris in the final year of his deal. I don't know what they're going to work out. Maybe they ink him to some 2-year deal, and he's got 2 more years here in Phil. Maybe it's another 1-year deal with another player option. Then he goes back to Houston, rides off to the sunset, deep in the heart of Texas. Maybe that'll be it. But if I see a 4-year, $210 million deal to James Harden, oh, baby, I will not be a happy camper. I will not be happy at all. So are you sad that they missed out on the Beal deal? Do you want James Harden back now? Or are you like me? Are you going to be at your happiest if the Sixers go into the season with my new favorite term, gap year? Are they going to come in, and gap year as it applies to basketball in this sense? Are you going to be happier if they go in with the Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Fred VanVleet led 76ers with new head coach Nick Nurse? What will make you happiest? What will bring you the most joy in life, ladies and gentlemen? What will make you the happiest? That's where I'm at. That's what would make me the happiest. If they go into the season with Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Fred VanVleet, maybe some other guys out there, right? And Nick Nurse obviously is their head coach. That would make me the happiest. James Harden does not make me the happiest. And for the people, and I've said this before, but for the people that do say, oh, well, here's your best chance. If you bring back James Harden, you take a huge step back. You don't know that. How good can Tyrese Maxey be? And before you answer that, tell me how good you thought, Jalen Hurts could be, for instance. Because if you could scout out players that well where you already know their ceiling, then go work in a front office somewhere. Because you're missing out on a lot of money. A lot of money, if you really know. Because I don't know until I really see it. I have an inclination. I didn't give up on Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I didn't think, I'll tell you this right now. Tyrese Maxey has far exceeded my expectations already. Can he play at an all-star level? Can he make an all-star team next year? He might. Give him that opportunity. I'd love to see him have that opportunity. So that's where I'm at on the Bradley Beal trade. Are you upset? Are you saddened that we don't have Bradley Beal in the Sixers right now? Because I'm not. I feel great. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like the Wizards getting more picks. I don't like the Wizards getting more assets. I don't like that. I don't like that even a little bit. So that's where I'm at on that. And now let me tell you about the great people at BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. And we're so lucky to live in a day and age now where we can openly speak about mental health, because that negative stigma that once surrounded the subject is going away slowly but surely. And hey, we could all use some help sometimes, right? I've told you guys my own bout with obsessive compulsive disorder when I was a young kid. My parents were kind enough and smart enough to get me out there in front of a therapist where I got some help. If BetterHelp was around then, it would have been a lot easier and more convenient to figure out what I needed and when I needed it. BetterHelp is convenient and affordable therapy anytime, anywhere. BetterHelp will match you with one of their 32,000 licensed therapists based on your location, preferences, and therapist availability. Log on to BetterHelp.com, fill out their questionnaire that asks questions like what type of therapy you're looking for, what led you to consider therapy, and what you're looking for in a therapist. Yeah, they want to get to know you the best so they can help you the best way they can. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out that brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists whenever you'd like, anytime, for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/farzyshow today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/farzyshow today to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/farzyshow. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/farzyshow and get on your way to being your best self. Let me tell you about my man, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Ladies and gentlemen, for over 40 years, Steven's been in the love business in Philadelphia, helping people get engaged and fall in love. So please, when it comes to your big day, Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Guaranteeing the perfect price each and every day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Now, what's the perfect price? Well, other jewelers are marking things way up just to mark it down a couple of bucks in front of you and make you feel like you won something. Steven Singer is right there for you, folks, keeping it at that perfect price. So when you walk in, you don't have to worry about negotiating or haggling or have that pressure of trying to be a salesman to a salesman. No. You just get the perfect price each and every time. Sit back, relax, get treated like a real family member by a real jewelry expert at Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price. All not at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. How about the amazing people at Manscaped? Manscaped.com, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Whether it's the Platinum Package 4.0 or the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Manscaped is the way to go, and especially their best hygiene bundle yet. And they also have their skin-safe technology, which helps reduce the risk of nicks, so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. So check out Manscaped at manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Again, we're doing the live taping tonight. We're doing it at 10:24 on Sunday night. Huh? Eh? So make sure, if you like CBD and different kinds of CBD, try FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Freestone Farm CBD, it's fantastic. FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You'll love the tropical tasting Bayox that clocks into the chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts. So try Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. How about the great people at PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you beautiful people are doing on this fine evening. A little bit of a new crowd. Mark Saber, what's up, Mark Saber? Ty Vita! Hold on. Mark Saber says, or Sabre. Says Schwarbomb. We have definitely gotten to a point with Kyle Schwarber where it is just jumping off the bat. And that's the point I'm trying to make with that curveball that he hit for the RBI single down the right field line. It went like whatever it said, 300 feet, 350, whatever it was. 300 feet probably is more appropriate. And it just reached down and touched it. Just reached out. You know how they say like home runs are accidents? So hits a lot of times are accidents. And this was just him protecting the plate. And there's a lot of times where you're watching Kyle Schwarber and you're thinking, you know what? You don't got to be so by the book on what you think is a strike by a centimeter and what's not a strike by a centimeter. Sometimes, yeah, go ahead, protect the plate. And that's what I felt like he was doing. And he just, boop. He bopped that ball is what he did down the right field line. Ty Vita, are you upset that he didn't get Bradley Beal? Are you upset you didn't get Bradley Beal? Just asking a question. Marcia, happy Father's Day. Thank you very much. Ari, what's up? Oh, Ari, do I have a story you're going to like? You already know the story. I think you're going to like the story. All right, what's going on? Happy Father's Day to you, Professor Dutch. Thank you. Happy Father's Day to you guys, to everybody. If they can take the series versus the Braves, I'll really start to believe. There you go, Professor Dutch. You know, the Phillies, maybe the Phillies are the Marlins are to the Phillies as the Phillies are to the Braves. Did I do that right inflection? The Braves know they can beat the Phillies, okay? But the playoffs kind of got in their head last year, maybe, especially Strider's head, maybe. We'll get into that, and that's the doozy. I don't want to forget the doozy that I teased earlier. Professor Dutch, hello again. Mihai Sanchez, thank you very much. Appreciate the happy anniversary wishes. Thank you. Ty Vita, thank you, Ty Vita. Happy anniversary. That's very nice, Mark. Thank you. Just a teep. Farzy, pots and pans, sir. Pots and pans. My man, Pots and Pans. Yes, appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Now, because I'm taping this Sunday night, I'm just going to do some regulars here. All right, here we go. Some other regulars. There's a lot of regulars in the chat right now, but PJ, I want to make sure that we acknowledge our regulars. So I'm just going to, ready? This is me reacting to the regulars in the chat. Ready? April! Hope you had a great weekend. That's a great point, April. That's a great point. Dan Schwartz, you sandbagging SOB. Thanks again for the art that you sent us for me catching or throwing the football the other day. That was great. And then thanks for the Father's Day wishes that you tweeted me. You're a very kind man. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Mally! Smoke him if you got him, Mally. You got it, Mally. Thanks, Mally. Let's see. Who else we got here? Sean Gillespie. Sean, thanks, Sean. Sean Kilray. The Seans. What's going on, guys? Nice to see you in the chat. Of course, live. That's right? Live? No? Okay. Anyway, thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody. I got them all for the most part. Go Sixers. Go Sixers. I talked to you in the post-game show, the Phillies post-game show. So thanks for stopping by. I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, oh, it's you. And it's you too. And it's you. You. Thank you. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars. SkyMotorcars.com. This is incredible. David Freese. This is what I was talking about earlier there, Ari. David Freese, a St. Louis Cardinal for 5 seasons. Huge hits, especially in the postseasons, World Series, all that stuff. He was voted in by the fans to be in the Cardinals Hall of Fame, and he said, thanks, but no thanks. David Freese declines induction to the Cardinals Hall of Fame after being elected by the fans. He knows the value and honor and wants to respect the other members. What? That is from Derek Gould from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. David Freese turning down Cardinals Hall of Fame nods from the fans. Now listen to this. He doesn't want to be joined. He doesn't want to join the names. Now he's a St. Louis kid, so he respects the hell out of guys like Stan Musial, Bob Gibson, Ozzie Smith, just to name a few. And how about this? Steve Carlton. 2 of the names that he was up against in the fan voting. Steve Carlton, who some people forget, especially people that are younger than me. Steve Carlton started his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. He won a World Series with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1967. He won a World Series with the Cardinals. He pitched 1 game in that series. He allowed 1 run over 6 innings of work, and he got the loss. That was in 1967. He won the World Series. And then in 1971, he went 20-9 for the Cardinals. That was his final year before being traded to the Phillies. How about that? Edgar Renteria was also on the fan vote, and David Freese beat both of them out to make it into the Ring of Honor. Or I shouldn't say Ring of Honor. I should say the Cardinals Hall of Fame. And he said, thanks, but no thanks. I in no way, shape, or form deserve to be up there. The guy's not terrible. He was a 277 career hitter with a 351 on base percentage, and he was clutch in the postseason. My man. I think you deserve it. Like, I get it. Like, let's live in a world for a second where I am David Freese of the Phillies. I grew up here, helped to win a World Series, and you guys vote me in. You guys give me more votes than Steve Carlton or Edgar Renteria. Thanks. Okay, I will be in there proudly. But this guy says thanks, but no thanks. I don't agree with it. Baseball player, like the hometown market is a separate entity than the Baseball Hall of Fame. Steve Carlton, Ozzie Smith, soon to be Albert Pujols, Bob Gibson, those are Hall of Famers. They're not just Cardinals Hall of Famers. Like David Freese, this isn't you getting into the Hall of Fame. This is you getting into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. I respect his decision. It's his decision. I cannot agree with his decision. My ruling on this is, hey, yes, you do you. I'm not telling you what to do, but I can say it's ridiculous. If the fans want you in, and you've been clutch for that fan base, and you were a part of that fan base as a kid, You deserve it, man. And guess what? It's not up to you anyway. Well, it turns out it is, actually, because he could decline the offer. He could say, hey, thanks for nothing. And I know some people were floating this around with Scott Rowland being elected into the Phillies Wall of Fame. Would Scott Rowland say no? Can he say no? Will he say no? Can he please say no? It's crazy, man. I think it's totally fine. Like, I don't know what the equivalent would be in Philadelphia. Trying to think of the most clutch playoff performers. I don't know what the equivalent was. Danny Briere in the Flyers Hall of Fame. He's a GM now. Like, he'd struggle in the regular season a lot of times, and in the playoffs, he just turned into he turned into Kyle Schwarber in June. That's what he would do. Pedro Feliz? Would that be the equivalent of the third baseman of the World Series team that everybody forgets about? Who would be the equivalent? I don't know, but I think David Freese was there for a longer time than Pedro Feliz was. Pedro Feliz was here, what, a year or two at most? It's crazy. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. I think if the fans vote you in, you go. Simple as that, baby. Simple as that. Let's continue with the morning rush. Sponsored by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies are back at it, like I said, against the Atlanta Braves. They're coming up against the Atlanta Braves. They have Monday off, and then they're back at it 7:40 or 6:40, excuse me, against the Braves to start off that series. The Phillies will have Ranger Suarez on the hill, just doing Ranger things, of course. He has just been flat out dominant. We'll get to Rangers numbers first and what he's done over his last handful of starts here. I talked about the pitch counts going up every single start. Well, how about this? Over his last 4 starts, he's allowed 4 runs in total. He has not allowed more than 2 runs in a start. He's allowed 2 runs, 1 run, and then no runs, most recently against the Arizona Diamondbacks in a 7 scoreless inning performance. He's also gone at least 6 innings in each of his last 4 starts. 6 2/3, 7, 6, and 7 again. And his strikeout numbers have been pretty good over the last two starts for him. 8 and then 7. 8 against the LA Dodgers and then 7 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, he will be opposed, and this is the doozy for you, folks. He'll be opposed by Spencer Strider. Now, Spencer Strider helped kept the Phillies' bats at bay, holding them to just 2 hits in his last start against the Phillies after blowing it in the playoffs last year. Just had to say that again. But Spencer Strider started the game. That was the 11-4 Phillies loss to the Braves. Strider went 6 innings, allowing 2 runs in that game. He did allow a home run. He walked just 1 and struck out 9. Now, Spencer Strider's last 2 opponents, the god-awful New York Metropolitans and the god-awful Detroit Tigers. Now, the Braves won those games, but Spencer Strider did not pitch well in those games. Against the Mets, he allowed 8 runs, all of them earned in 4 innings of work. Against the Tigers, one of the worst offenses in the whole MLB, a team that the Phillies in 3 games took 3 separate no-hitters into or past the 5th inning. He allowed 5 runs on 7 hits and 3 long balls. Holy pots and pans in just 5 innings of work. So the Phillies should have at it, ladies and gentlemen. The Phillies should have at it against Spencer Strider. Just tee off on him. And he's going to face Kyle Schwarber in June. Good luck. That's the show, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Yes, I do hope you guys had a wonderful Father's Day. I have talked about my dad on the show before, Joe Farzetta. I've talked about him on more than one occasion, and I know I talked about him on Father's Day last year. Scheduling-wise, everything else is fine. We just couldn't golf this year. We've golfed every Father's Day for as long as I can remember, at least 15, 20 years. We've golfed every Father's Day. I have been down the beach with friends and then driven back to go golf with my dad and then drove back to the beach. You know, I really love my father. I am so unbelievably blessed to have Joe Farzetta as my dad. I know they say a lot of times that people, especially sons, they could be a lot like their dads, and I'm a lot like my dad. But I really do love and appreciate my father. He had a rough go of it in life, man. He got dealt a difficult hand. He had his brothers to lean on for that, to help him out. And I've learned a lot from watching him as a man. I've learned a lot from watching him as a father. And I really hope that I get into, I mean, talk about guys, not getting into the Hall of Fame or saying, no, I would like to be in like the Hall of Fame of dads, like my dad is, as far as I'm concerned. What a role model. And I hope people listening to this show, people watching this show, have a similar experience to me. And if not, then I hope you can be that experience for somebody else. And I'm really hoping I can do that for Emanuela and Leonardo as their father. In all seriousness, thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great time. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya. Bye.